Grant will get one more free throw here. Missed it. No, he put it in. He tried to miss it. It hit it off the backboard and rattled in with 1.4 to play. Here's the long inbound pass. Jokic has it, turns, puts it up. It bounces up and out. It's a Rip City winner. The Blazers take down the Denver Nuggets 109-107.
And that is what it sounded like inside Moda Center just a few nights ago as your Portland Trail Blazers take down the Denver Nuggets to improve 4-2 on the season. What a wonderful game that was. Final score 109-107. It wasn't without its controversy, but if it was controversial, it just depends if you are a Blazer fan or a Denver fan, and we will talk about that here in just a second. This is Blazers Game Day. I'm your host, Chris Burkhardt. If you want to join the conversation with us today, 503-248-0620 is your telephone number. And, of course, you can head on over to youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio, and join the chat with us there as well. It was a heck of a game against the Denver Nuggets. The Blazers battled their tails off the entire way. The first quarter, the defense was trying to lock in. They were trying to give the Nuggets some fits. The Nuggets outscored the Blazers 26-18 in the quarter, and it just felt like something was off. The Blazers weren't clicking. And then in the second quarter, they flipped it. They flipped the switch. They outscored the Nuggets 35-31, and things were starting to look up. But in the third quarter, it felt just like the first. Denver scores 24. The Blazers score 18. But then in the fourth quarter, the rally started. It ended up being 38-26 in favor of your Portland Trail Blazers, and it happened because of clutch plays down the stretch.
Obvia near side. Looks for Holiday underneath. Holiday backs it out. Gets to the corner. 12 seconds to shoot. Gordon follows him out there. Steps back. Contested three. Buries it! Blazers lead 99-98. Murray passes it over to Johnson. Johnson attacks. He steps through. Rejected out of bounds by Tumani Kamara. With 3.2 to shoot. He sends Cam Johnson to bed without any dinner.
Sends him to bed without any dinner. Great call there by Travis Demers. And then from there, it gets a little crazy, right? The Denver Nuggets have to inbound the basketball, but what do? Throw it off of Jeremy Grant's hand, deflects it. Great defense there, so they got to come back into it. Then they get a chance. Jump ball heard around the world. They inbound it to Nikola Jokic. Tumani Kamara right behind him, gets his hands around him, gets his hands on the ball. They called chump ball, and you know what? It was maybe controversial. I thought there was a lot of contact between the two players prior to that inbound, and you may have been able to call the foul on Tumani Kamara. I'm looking at the play going, I would have absolutely understood if they did, but I kind of also understand the no call in that situation because both players were jockeying for position. Once that ball comes in, Tumani Kamara has his hands on the basketball, and at that point, they're fighting for control. And I kind of like the no call in that situation, going to a jump ball. If you're a Denver fan, I mean, their broadcasters were absolutely livid for like the last 48 hours. And I can completely understand it, because if you flip that script and it was the Blazers, we probably would have been talking about why that was a bad call too. I think, though, I can understand why that was the call. And the NBA in their last 2-minute report did say that it was the correct call. So take that for what it's worth. So then the Nuggets have to jump ball. They win the jump ball. It goes to Aaron Gordon. Shaedon Sharpe makes a great play, blocks the shot. And it's like, no, man, things are looking good. Blazers have a chance. Jeremy Grant gets fouled by Aaron Gordon. He goes to the line, and that's what you heard here in the open.
Jeremy Grant at the line, trying to give the Blazers the lead with 1.4 seconds remaining. Tied at 107. The first free throw is good. Blazers lead 108-107.
And it's funny because in the next shot, Denver doesn't have a timeout, and Jeremy Grant's going to try to miss the shot. He tries to hit it off the back rim, hopefully create a long rebound. And he does. He hits it off the back of the rim, but it goes right in. And it's funny because when you hear in the call, Travis is like, and he misses. Oh, he makes it. And you just see Jeremy Grant turn and the look on his face like, man, like I tried to miss it. And I made it, which is funny because when I try to make shots, I miss them. Yeah, I guess it pays to be a professional basketball player. But inbound pass comes to Jokic. He has a good look at it, quite honestly, to tie the game, but it doesn't go in. And your Trailblazers walk off victorious. Final score 109-107. Taking a look at the box score. Denny Avdia, 23 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 14 points for Tumani Kamara, and, of course, that huge jump ball call. 5 points, 15 rebounds for Donovan Clingan, 11 points, 13 assists for Drew Holiday. Shaden Sharp had 19 and 16 points for Jeremy Grant off of the bench. Chris Murray came in. He got quite a bit of run in this one. He played almost 30 minutes, and the thing is, Matisse Thybulle had surgery that morning. That is when the Blazers announced that he had injured his thumb against Utah, had to have surgery for a torn UCL in his left thumb. He will be out for 4 to 6 weeks. So you knew you were going to get a healthy dose of Chris Murray. He ended the night with 10 points. He had 6 rebounds. He had an assist. He had 3 steals. Very, very good. He had a nice dunk where I laughed because, like, sometimes he has just the most unassuming athleticism. He drives baseline. It looks like he might go for a lane, and all of a sudden, boom, he bounces out of the gym, which is pretty incredible. And, of course, when you come off the bench, you come up big, you're going to get those post-game interviews.
This was a gritty victory. I know you weren't feeling so good the other day, but you came back strong today. Just in a tough game like this where you had some injuries as a team and were undermanned, how were you able to get it done?
That's the thing about this team. I mean, we're resilient. We play hard no matter who's on the court, whoever we got. We obviously want some guys back. It's tough to kind of do what we do every day and not have a lot of guys, but we're just resilient. I mean, that's kind of what this game just showed. We fought back. Everyone made some mistakes. Everyone had a tough night shooting. I mean, we just dug deep and got a win.
You've been so aggressive on both sides of the floor this year, especially around the rim. What's led to your confidence in those areas, especially in the paint?
I'm just doing a lot better, just shaking off my mistakes. I kind of just want to be the aggressor at the start of games and towards the end. I knew that we didn't have a lot of guys playing, so someone had to be aggressive, and I kind of took that upon myself in the second half just to kind of make myself a threat out there, and just glad that we got the win today.
You've battled through a couple of tough years here with the Blazers. Now 6 games in, you're 4-2, and some of the teams that you've beaten have won championships and have Hall of Famers and MVPs. Where is this team in your eyes of where you want to be?
I feel like we still have a lot of room to grow. We knew that we could compete with these guys. We wanted to show that early on in this season, and we've been able to do that. Obviously, we didn't have the shots going today, and we still found a way to win, and that just kind of shows kind of what kind of team we have. It's a next man up mentality, and it was good to get that one against the Nuggets today.
And there you hear Chris Murray, and they did next man up because the injuries are piling up. Unfortunately, you heard the news I said a second ago about Matisse Thybulle, but then the news came out as well yesterday that Blake Wesley, when he went down in that game, most people kind of thought it was probably an ankle injury. I didn't see him roll his ankle, but I did see him. It was when he went for a shot, drove through. He jumps up at the free throw line to take the jump shot, comes down, doesn't roll his ankle or anything, but then he stays on the ground as he falls down, and he grabs his foot. Kind of looks like he's trying to maybe look at the ankle, but when he goes to step up, I think you could tell there was pain there because he instantly just kind of went back down to the ground, and it was announced that he broke a bone in his foot, and he'll be out for about a month as well. Oh, actually, no, there was no timetable for his return, excuse me. So now you don't have Blake, you don't have Matisse Thybulle, and you need guys like Chris Murray to step up. The biggest question is, how do they approach that backup point guard position now? Now, Blake Wesley has been great defensively, offensively. He's been all right, but defensively is where they're going to miss him because he has been so tenacious on that side of the basketball. It has been one of those things where you take Drew out and you take 2 out and you put him in. You still got a guy who's going to go all out all the time on the defensive end. So losing him for an extended period of time is big, especially when you don't have Scoot. I mean, you need Scoot Henderson. You need all these guys back healthy as soon as possible. What does this all mean for the Blazers? We will dive into that a little bit later in the show because we got to take a quick break here on Blazers Game Day. When we come back, we're going to head to the Coach's Corner, hear what Coach Tiago Splitter has to say ahead of this game. In fact, he might have some updates on what that roster and rotation will look like. This is Blazers Game Day. I'm your host, Chris Burkhardt. If you want to join the conversation, head on over to youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio, or hit me up on social at Chris J. Burkhardt. We'll continue after the break here on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio, 620. Oh, welcome back into Blazers Game Day. Chris Burkhardt here with you. getting ready for the Blazers versus Lakers. We'll head to the coach's corner here in just a second. Just waiting for Coach to head to the podium. Couple of updates. Jason says Young got sit down and back up faster than a yo-yo. That was intentional, though. The team did not practice this weekend, so they send him down to the Rip City Remix where he can practice, and it's just a formality that they have to announce that. As I was talking to Blazer fans, I was like, don't be surprised if he's called back up after Rip City Remix practice on Sunday or early Monday, and he was called back up after practice on Sunday. So not shocking in the least. So especially with the team needing those bodies just in case, Rob is still on a minutes restriction and what kind of offenses the other teams are throwing at you, and you need a big body. Makes complete sense. I would not be surprised if they see him down there playing some games with the Remix at some point, though, because that's going to be good for his development. But no, that was just a formality to get him down there. And, of course, Blazers need the bodies with the injuries piling up. Still no Scoot. Blake Wesley is now injured for an undisclosed amount of time. Matisse Thybulle out for a little over a month. Like, the injuries are piling up. But the Lakers, they got him too. Luka not playing on the second night of a back-to-back, so he won't be in uniform tonight. LeBron not playing tonight. Austin Reeves not playing. Between Luka and Austin Reeves, that's 70 points that will be missing from the Lakers lineup tonight. That's unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. So the Blazers have to take advantage of that one and hopefully put together another performance like they did against the Denver Nuggets. Once again, we're just waiting on Coach Splitter to head to the podium. When he does, we'll head down there, hear what he has to say. He should have been there about 60 seconds ago, but, sometimes you mosey on in. You do your thing.
Not yet, Master Burkhardt. Not yet.
Not yet. Oh, the voice of Brendan comes shattering through my ear. When you can't see your producer and you don't, like, Brendan and I got pretty good rapport. Like, when I look through the glass, I can tell when he wants to talk. But when you don't have the eye contact, you just hear the voice. It throws you off every time, Brendan.
I love you, Chris.
I love it. But no, he'll get up there, and then we'll obviously head down to the coach's corner. But that's something that they're going to figure out tonight. How do you attack this team? None of those stars are out. In the past, so-and-so really snuck up on us because we didn't have a lot of film on them and we weren't anticipating it. I don't like that answer. If you're me, no Luka, no LeBron, no Austin Reeves, you don't have your big three, guess what? Foot to throat. There's no debate what we're doing. We're not going to let anyone else try to jab us because we're just going to go out and throw a haymaker. That's what I would want my team to do. You don't adjust. Don't adjust because they don't have their guys in. Just go out there and just give them hell. Make them go, whoa, what just happened? We were put in a box.
Coming in.
Right? That's what happened. Anyway, let's head down to the presser where Tiago Splitter's talking right now.
The style of play that you guys have, the intensity, the effort you have to give, and longevity of the season, does that kind of come into play at all?
No. Honestly, no. This is how we want to play. These things happen. Not just the way we play. Things happen during the season.
What is the plan for like that backup point guard spot with basically all those guys out?
Well, we're gonna have to have other guys bringing the ball, of course. Danny probably gonna help us more on that regard. We're gonna have two ways playing. I think it's a collective thing, to be honest, and it's not like we play with like a real old school point guard anyways, right? So whoever gets it brings it, play with speed, so it's not going to change much in that regard.
Specifically with Blake, Tiago, what will you miss while he's gone? He brought so much on.
Yeah, I think he was most of the games the spark of our defense and our offense. Just the way he plays, he brings energy and he's contagious. So the guys that we cannot wait for Blake now to come in and just fire everything, right? Everybody got to be better and bring it.
So how do you replicate that? It's kind of a unique thing he brings.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. I'm not going to lie. We just got to find different ways to, defend better, to use, our speed in a different way, maybe more kick-outs. Just be smarter with the ball. We got to find ways.
Chris Murray said after last game that it seems you've been getting more intense and comfortable with the team lately. Do you agree with that assessment, and how do you bring intensity to the job?
Yeah, I think it's almost like, getting used to this spot again, right? Like being a head coach. And at the beginning, you got to go understand a little bit the players and read the room a little bit. But yeah, I think when it's time, I have to bring it and try to take the best out of them, to be honest.
Is that something that you intentionally are trying to do and like push buttons by being intense, or is that just your natural demeanor?
Just feel the moment.
How do you prepare for this version of the Lakers without their primary shot creators?
We of course prepare everything with them playing, right? I got a notice just like you guys a couple hours ago, so you know the coaches are doing a great job now and kind of like resetting a little bit everything that we had prepared, and but still, you know, we got to do what we do on offense and defense. We're not going to change much in terms of identity. Is more just little details in the scouts. It's not going to change us.
Thiago, you talk about things not changing with Blake out, but also with Matisse out too. Does that at all, do you have to be more mindful, I guess, of how hard the guys are playing when you have two fewer guys who would kind of be filling that role?
It's really hard to ask a team to play less hard, right? I'm not going to do that. But just to respond to your question, I think it's just part of who these guys are. It's not just me pushing them. They want to play that way. They play that way, you know, like those guys have a DNA like Tumani, Drew. Those guys just play hard. It doesn't matter, you know, what's the scheme or what the team they play. They just play hard. So I'm not going to change that.
You still envision going 10 or more deep in the rotation?
Yes.
Yeah. What was Hansen's reaction to the remix assignment, and how has that gone so far?
He's fine. I mean, he understands. You know, he's here for a marathon or a sprint, so he's being very great. Just doing everything we ask and being a good pro so far.
Is there anything specifically that he works on when he's there? Is it just getting practice time, basically?
Well, you know, of course he's doing his individual skill work, but also, you know, got a chance to practice, because right now we almost don't practice, right? Like we try to use our energy to the games, and so yeah, it's good for him to get some, you know, some sweat going up and down, so it's good for him.
Is part of you a little disappointed that you don't get to see your defense take on the challenge of guarding Luka tonight?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Thanks, Thiago.
And there you hear from head coach Thiago Splitter. And, you know, some interesting stuff there, obviously. You know, Denny will help take over more of that backup point guard spot, which is kind of what we all anticipated, especially since it's kind of been a collective from the whole team. There hasn't been a lot of, hey, a true backup point guard like Blake Wesley. Like, yes, he's played great defense and has been that point guard for that second unit, but it hasn't been like, okay, a true guy who's just setting up the offense and everything, more like a Scoot would be. So I think they'll be fine there. Also, you know, he mentioned how they prepare the same. You know, it doesn't really matter what's going on with the Lakers or who's in and out of the lineup. They have to prepare, make little adjustments. And then he mentioned about Young Hansen, who was sent down to the remix. And, you know, they said, you know, it's a marathon, not a sprint. And he knows that, which leads into a question sent by Jason. And that question was sent on YouTube. So if you want to join in and send us some questions, head on over to youtube.com. Type in Rip City Radio, join the conversation there. And he says, hey, Rip City Project said that Young is a bigger project than the Blazers thought. What do you think, Chris? Did the team underestimate the project level that Young is? And the answer to that is absolutely not. They knew that he was a project day one. In talking to Joe Cronin, they said that, you know, obviously the basketball IQ was important, because the other stuff you can start to teach and, you know, get the shots and get him in, you know, teach him the hooks and teach him the picks and teach him the language and all that stuff. But the basketball IQ was there. But he was never drafted with intention to be, you know, come in season one and be a difference maker. They knew that it was an absolute project with him, and they took that risk. I think a lot of teams saw that value, though, and that's why you started to hear the murmurs that teams like Brooklyn and Minnesota were starting to get real interested with where he was available in the draft. So, no, keep in mind, too, that a lot of people going in thought he was a second-round pick or a late first-rounder. And if you're in that range, most people think you're a project to begin with. So, no, I think they're fine. I think they like the progress he's making. They just understand that, A, it takes a long time for a big man, and B, there's a lot of hurdles for him. He's got to learn an entirely new language. He's got to learn the rules of the NBA versus where he's been playing previously. And, yeah, the bouncing back and forth between the remix and Portland, again, it just makes sense. The Blazers didn't have practices, so send him down where he can get some runs, and that's important in the long run. But to answer your question, Jason, no, I don't think that this team thought that he wasn't going to be a project. They knew that he was going to be a project from day one. They knew they weren't even getting someone like a Donovan Clingan, who was, struggled a little bit, especially with conditioning, but was, ready to play. And they could throw Young out there, and he's going to take his lumps, but it's not as if he's like busted goods and he can't get on an NBA floor. I mean, they've played him out there in 5 minutes here and there, but no, I would absolutely not agree with that. I do not believe that this team underestimated the project, the level that Young was. They knew that he was a project the entire time, and they anticipated that and were ready to take on that challenge. So that's my answer to that. Also, Kirk asks, Sharp banged up. So Sharp is dealing with calf soreness. Last we checked, he was probable for the game. I did not happen to actually hear Splitter say an update, but we'll get you some updates on that. And, so that's that. Blake Wesley out, Matisse Thybulle out, Scoot Henderson still out dealing with his stuff. Robert Williams will be in. For the Lakers, like I made the joke with Chad earlier, it's the South Bay Lakers. But DeAndre Ayton, questionable. Maxi Kleber, questionable. Luka Doncic, LeBron James, Austin Reeves, Gabe Vincent, all out tonight. And as I mentioned before, Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves right now, Luka's averaging 41 points. Austin Reeves is averaging 31 points per night. That is 72 points per game missing from the Lakers lineup tonight. The Blazers, 110,000% need to take advantage. All right, this is Blazers Game Day. I'm your host, Chris Burkhardt. If you want to join the conversation, head on over to ripcityradio.com on YouTube. ripcityradio.com on YouTube. Head on over to YouTube and type in ripcityradio.com and join our chat there. And, of course, you can follow us on social at ripcityradio620 or at Chris J. Burkhardt on whatever platform you're on. We're going to take a quick little break. When we come back, we're going to dive a little bit more into this Laker game, maybe look back at what happened just a week ago in Los Angeles and see how the Blazers played there, see if that can give us any idea of what it's going to be like tonight. But before I do go, I got to shout out Brendan Slaughter, who made sure he hit up the archives to get the perfect audio to play as we head to break. This is Blazers Game Day, and we return after that break here on Rip City Radio. sweet on-air producing, and Brendan, that is correct. Next segment, we will do keys to the game. Ask me a question, but it's like, no, I'm on air. He probably has my mic off so I could answer it, but you know what? Let's just intro this segment and just have some fun. So we will, in fact, be doing keys to the game here in just a few minutes. What do the Blazers have to do to win this one? And quite frankly, the answer is probably just play basketball. You would hope, because pretty much the entire Lakers team is out. No LeBron, no Luka, no Austin Reeves. And as I mentioned before, without Luka and Reeves, that's 70 points of offense right now in this early Lakers season. I mean, they're going to be led up by Jake LaRivia, and that's just telling you something about the state of the Lakers today with all those injuries. And the crazy part is, if the Lakers are healthy, like they're a playoff team, that's for sure. Contender, maybe, but I would argue that you might be a contender anytime you have a healthy Luka Doncic on your team. But you look at what the Blazers were able to do against this team last week in Los Angeles. It was a 122-108 victory. They weathered the Austin Reeves storm, where he scored 41 points in that game. DeAndre Ayton had a decent game, 16 points, 8 boards on 8 of 15 shooting. Rui Hachimura had basically a Rui Hachimura game. It's what he does almost every single night. 15 points, 16 points. He had 16 points, 6 boards in that one. And then Jake LaRivia, he had just 3 points, but he will find a way to score when you need him to right now as well. So it's just a thing overall, like, how do the Blazers attack? How do the Blazers make sure that they don't get beat defensively, because they don't have the same type of offensive power that they normally have, that being the Los Angeles Lakers. But this is the NBA. These guys all made it to the league for a reason. They will find ways to beat you. We saw the Blazers in the middle of, tankathon season still find ways to grab victories. So how do they do that tonight? Now, Jake LaRivia, as I mentioned, he's had some decent games. He's averaging 12.9 points per game right now, which is, not too bad for a guy when he's like your 5th option overall. Can link the names that he's playing with. But he does have a little bit of a stretch where you look at against Miami. He had 25 points last night. Against Minnesota on the 29th, he had 27 points. So he can find ways to get involved as well. So between him, Rui Hachimura, like, they got guys who can score, but they have no one who's just going to grab the ball and take over and never look back, like Luka does, like LeBron does, and quite frankly, like Austin Reeves has been doing all season long. So if you just take care and play your team defense that we know you can play, I think you'll be just fine. Defensively against the Nuggets, that was a huge game for Portland. To go in and get that victory against a team that is all very likely a championship contender in a stacked Western Conference is no small potatoes. And you go in and you hold, I know this sounds weird, but you hold Denver to 48% shooting, which is below their average because they shoot over 50%. Yeah, that's a big game for the Blazers. Denver, 6 of 25 from beyond the arc. That is a big game for the Blazers. And then a key to that victory, again, is you did not get just absolutely beat up on the glass. Now, you did lose the rebound battle to the Nuggets 46-43, but again, you're right there with them the whole time, doing what needs to be done. And as Chad was pointing out to me earlier today, Donovan Clingan, 30 offensive rebounds through 6 games. I believe that's good. So you're going to need Donovan Clingan to have a good game. You're going to need the defense to step up and then see who goes out there and scores. You cannot do what you did in L.A. and play really good defensively, the other L.A., the Clippers, that is, and play good defensively, but then have your offense absolutely sputter. Because this will be the type of game that you lose, that the offense just couldn't get you a bucket, and next thing you know, the Lakers found ways to outscore you, despite the fact your defense looked good. You got to get the offense to score. So it's going to be a big game for guys like Toumani Camara to bounce back. Toumani Camara had just 4 points and 4 rebounds the last time they played the Lakers. Jeremy Grant had 22 off the bench. Denny Avdia, 25 points in another solid game for him. So that's what you're going to need. You're going to need absolute team basketball. And then you're going to need to get absolutely good minutes from your guys who might get in there tonight, because as you heard Tiago Splitter say earlier, they're still going to have that 10-man rotation. So does that mean that it's Ryan Rupert? Does that mean that it's Caleb Love? Does that mean that Dwap Reith gets more run? Whatever it is, you're going to have great basketball all the way around. Speaking of great basketball, lots of action going on around the NBA tonight. So let's get caught up with a quick scoreboard report right now with 9 minutes left in the third quarter. Minnesota has a 76-64 lead over the winless Brooklyn Nets. A loss here would drop the Nets to 0-7 to start the season. Rudy Gobert has 13 and 8 for Minnesota. 9.5 left in the third. The Bucks are tied with the Pacers 58 all. Pascal Siakam and Giannis Antetokounmpo both with 19 points. At the half, the Celtics lead the Jazz 46-36 in Boston. Peyton Pritchard leading the way with 15 points for the Celtics. In New York City, the Wizards 43, the Knicks 50 with 2 minutes left in the second quarter. Karl Anthony Towns has 12 points and 10 boards for the Knicks. End of the first quarter, the Mavericks 28, the Rockets 24. Cooper Flagg with 9 points to lead Dallas right now. Yeah, with 11.5 left in the second quarter, the Pistons lead the Grizzlies 32-28. John Morant has 7 points after, serving a 1-game suspension. And things are getting crazy there when it comes to Memphis and John Morant. You ask the coaches why we played like that. Then he gets the 1-game suspension for conduct detrimental to the team. And then you just sit there and you're like, this guy continues to run afoul of the team and just put his foot in his mouth. Superbly talented, but then just does some of these things that leave you scratching your head. And so you're starting to see who is going to be in the John Morant sweepstakes, who's going to make the trade. I'll tell you this much. It definitely starting to feel like John Morant's days in Memphis might be closer to the end than anyone thinks. Because, boy, howdy, does he continue to just kind of ruffle feathers. And it's weird because the guy's so darn good. So darn good. That's the last game that's underway right now. And the other games that yet to tip off tonight, you have Sacramento in Denver taking on the Nuggets, the Heat in LA to take on the Clippers, and of course, your Portland Trailblazers playing host to the Los Angeles Lakers. This is Blazers Game Day. I am your host, Chris Burkhardt. If you want to join in on the conversation, head on over to youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio, and get in on the conversation there. And Harkin says, AR for Ja. Are you referring to Austin Reeves? Are you saying the Lakers should get in on the Ja Morant sweepstakes? Ja Morant, should he be traded, will have suitors. It's just a matter of just getting your head screwed on right. Now, I don't know what teams have the pieces, because that's something obviously I haven't just fully dove into yet. But I sit there and I go, a team like Houston could probably take a guard right now. Ja Morant playing with Durant and Green and Jabari. Of course, you'd have to maybe trade one of those guys, but that's a team I'd keep an eye on. I'd definitely keep it. Do it. What you got?
Just again, watching this whole thing go over and over again, who's to say that a new environment is going to make Ja Morant more of a mature individual? Which is, I think, what.
I didn't say that.
No. And I'm not saying you did, but you know what I'm getting. Of all these people who are like, oh, sure, who's to say he wouldn't have an issue in Houston or wouldn't have an I think with Ja, unfortunately, it's a between the ears things, Burkhardt. Like totally.
I mean, come on, you get in trouble for what? Getting in a fight with a guy at a basketball court. You're making the gun signals. It's all the stuff is just it's the list is long at this point. And you're right. Sometimes you just can't get out of your own way. And as Tall Tim says, the market for Ja is very, very low and getting lower. And that's the crazy part about that is if you would have said that 3 years ago, people would tell you you're crazy. But I don't know if that's the case right now. I think because it's the NBA, Tim, talent's always going to have a market. So there would be someone who wants to go and find that guy and see what it takes to get him. But I'll tell you this, what it would take to get Ja Morant gets less and less as this continues to move forward. Oh, you want 3 first-round picks? Yeah, I ain't trading that for the headache. Oh, you want a little bit of talent in one? Yeah, I'll trade that and take on this headache and see if I can fix it. See if I can be the one to right the wrong. I do think for a guy like Ja, though, you put him in a place like Houston, guess what? You're not even the face of the franchise anymore. You got young guys there. You got a good coach who doesn't take much. Like that's, yeah. See what happens there. But again, I'm not dogging the guy too bad. I mean, I don't know Ja Morant. I just know that what we see from the outside. He's made a few mistakes here, and yeah, it feels like his time in Memphis is done. Who takes that risk and who wants to get in on that? I don't know, and I don't know when it happens. I'm not saying it happens this season, but boy, you would hope that your star, a guy who is supremely talented, would figure it out. Because I think that it's unfortunate when the conversation about Morant has nothing to do with basketball, because his basketball skill is off the chart. All right, we're going to take a quick break here on Blazers Game Day. When we come back, we'll hand out our keys to the game. What do the Blazers need to do to get a victory over the Los Angeles Lakers? This is Blazers Game Day on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. Well, what will it take for a Trailblazers victory tonight? Well, as we said already a few times, play basketball. Play your game. This one I'm not even going to need to break it down. Usually I'm like, okay, watch your turnovers, rebound the basketball. Field goal percentage is going to be important against this team. Like last game, right? Your defense had to be locked in because you had a Denver team that came in number 1 in points per game, number 1 in field goal percentage, like all that jazz. Tonight, you have a Lakers team that you might not even recognize. No Austin Reeves, no Luka Doncic, no LeBron James, no Gabe Vincent, possibly, healthy or minutes restriction, whatnot for DeAndre Ayton. Like, this is definitely just the rotation guys and maybe some two-wayers just trying to get through. So if you're the Blazers, it is simple. Play your game. Play your game, because if you play the game that we have seen the Blazers play over the last 6, you should win this game easily. It's the NBA, so teams will find ways to be in it and play good basketball, but you should win this game. So there is no breakdown. It's not be clean on the glass. No, don't turn over the ball. It's just play your game. Don't worry about what the other team is putting out there. As Coach Splitter said earlier, they're still game planning and ready to go. They saw the lineup for the Lakers late, but not a ton of adjustments, and you shouldn't. Like, if you are adjusting your entire game plan because the best players aren't playing, I feel like that's on you. This is not your opportunity to adjust to them. It is your opportunity to put the foot down, to go for the jugular, to leave no doubt, knockout punch. Mike Tyson this bad boy. That's what you got to do. Knockout punch all day long. That's my key to the game. Do not waver. Do not play down to your opponent. Go in and smack them. Smack them in the teeth and see what happens. If you smack them in the teeth and Jake LaRivia and Rui Hachimura and DeAndre Ayton beat you, then you know what? Then you gotta Pedro Martinez it. Sometimes you tip your hat and call them your daddies. And you just deal with it. But it shouldn't be a problem. It should not be a problem. Now, I will say that it is kind of crazy that, second night of back-to-back, so they aren't playing Luka Doncic. He's coming back from injury. And, boy, Chad said it earlier, too, that this is an issue with the NBA. If you're not going to play your guys all year long, then what are we doing? Like, I just watched a dad and his 2 sons walk by wearing their Laker gear, okay? Now, I know there's a lot of California transplants here. A lot of Laker fans tend to make these games. The Lakers fans are everywhere. But if you paid your money to come out and watch this game, you want to see Luka. Nope, second of back. Got to take a rest. Did we talk about this the other day with Michael Jordan and the idea of load management? And he said, I played for the guy up in the 300 level. The guy heckling me that I couldn't hear, but I still wanted to shut him up. I need more of that mentality. Like, if you're here wearing a Laker jersey and it's a Kobe, number 24 or number 8, Mamba mentality was a thing. Mamba mentality made sure he hit free throws with a blown Achilles. So it's just different levels here. And so I would hope the NBA, if these back-to-backs are such a big deal, then you know what? Eliminate them. Stop putting back-to-backs in the schedule. Stop giving the reason for these guys to back out, because I don't like it. It is crazy, as Sean Hyken, our Trailblazers reporter, has pointed out, that since the trade to Los Angeles, the Lakers have played the Blazers 4 times, and Luka hasn't played any of them. I believe that the Laker game, the first one that Luka didn't play, I think it was his first game as a Laker. Might have been, it was either the first game or the first road game, but he didn't play. It was like right there, right after the trade, which, again, we were all here at Moda Center when the trade happened, when everyone thought that Shams Charania had got hacked because no one believed it. Now, looking at the YouTube chat, Sean says it's a Blazer blowout. That would be nice. He also says Hansen needs to play more than 5 minutes tonight. Now, you got to be careful there, because you don't want to put him out there, and that's when all of a sudden DeAndre or Rui goes off because he's playing. But if you put yourself in a situation to be up big late, then, yeah, play him those garbage minutes. Let him get run absolutely do that. The Orb coming in from Cancun. I like it. Sun's still out there. You don't got that Pacific Northwest tilt where we get dark late now. Hope you're sitting on the beach enjoying your time, feet in the sand, watching Blazers game day. I love it. I love it. All right, music means it's time to go, but that's only me because you don't go anywhere. Because coming up next, Chad Dewing has the Trailblazers pregame show across the Trailblazers audio network, and then tip-off at 7 o'clock with your radio voice, Travis Demers on the call. And then after the game, keep it locked into Rip City Radio 620 for the fifth quarter, where hopefully we're breaking down a Trailblazers victory. Rip City, I'll talk to you after the game.